Close your eyes and imagine standing on a road paved with blue glazed bricks. Each tile gleams beneath your sandals, smooth as polished glass, cool in the desert morning. Lions made of golden ceramic snarl from the walls on either side of you. Welcome to Babylon in 600 BC, the largest city the ancient world has ever seen. You have heard stories about this place your entire life, but nothing prepared you for this. Forget the crumbling ruins that archaeologists dig from Iraqi sand today. In its prime, this city blazed with color, noise, and the raw smell of human ambition. This is what it felt like to walk through the center of civilization itself. Babylon sits between two rivers like a jewel cradled in the palm of a god. Euphrates cuts directly through the city, dividing it into eastern and western halves. Water flows through a network of canals, so precise that engineers still study them today. Farmers channel this water into barley fields that stretch beyond the horizon in every direction. Without these canals, Babylon would be nothing but dust and silence baking in the sun. Every grain of wheat that feeds this city travels along waterways older than living memory. Now raise your eyes toward the structure that dominates the entire skyline above everything else. Etemenanki rises from the city center, a step tower climbing toward the heavens in 7 tiers. Its summit burns with a blue glazed temple where priests commune with Marduk, god of gods. Imagine standing at the base and looking straight up at 90 meters of sun-baked brick. Heat radiates from every surface, shimmering the air into liquid waves of distortion. Pilgrims travel thousands of miles just to stand where you are standing right now. They believe this tower connects earth to heaven through a stairway only the divine can see. Walk south from Etemenanki, and you reach the most famous gate in human history. Ishtar Gate rises before you in deep lapis blue, covered with rows of sacred animals. Golden bulls and dragons march across its surface in perfect geometric procession. Sunlight catches the glazed reliefs and throws blue fire across the processional way. Cedar resin burns in bronze censers flanking the entrance, filling the air with sweet smoke. Soldiers in bronze helmets stand motionless at their posts, spears gleaming in the harsh sun. Through this gate, every new year, priests carry the golden statue of Marduk in solemn procession. Drums beat a rhythm so deep you feel it in your chest before you hear it. Thousands line the processional way, throwing flowers and chanting prayers that echo off glazed walls. But behind this spectacle of divine glory, ordinary Babylon tells a very different story. Step off the processional way and into the residential quarters where most people actually live. Mud brick houses crowd together along narrow alleys, barely wide enough for 2 people walking abreast. Walls rise high on both sides, blocking the murderous sun, but trapping stale air between them. Cooking smoke hangs in thick layers because wind cannot reach these suffocating corridors. Open sewers run down the center of each alley, carrying waste toward the nearest canal. Flies swarm in clouds, so dense they darken doorways when someone steps through in summer. Children play barefoot on packed earth that has absorbed generations of spilled food and animal waste. Heat in these alleys reaches temperatures that crack unfired pottery left on windowsills. Despite this, life here moves with a rhythm that reveals astonishing sophistication beneath the grime. Neighbors share courtyard wells and argue over water rights documented on clay tablets centuries old. In the Eastern Bazaar sell textiles dyed with indigo imported from the Indus Valley. Lapis lazuli from Afghanistan sits on wooden tables beside cedar oil from distant Lebanon. Scribes sit Jaded stalls, pressing reed styluses into wet clay tablets. Every transaction, every debt, every marriage contract becomes a permanent record in Cuneiform. Babylon runs on bureaucracy more thoroughly than any civilization before or after for 2 millennia. Clay tablets stacked floor to ceiling fill archive rooms that function as ancient databases. Disputes over property, settled 3 generations ago, can be retrieved and verified within hours. Now follow the sound of hammering copper into the metalworking district near the river bend. Furnaces blast heat into the already scorching air, turning the district into a shimmering forge. Bronze workers pound sheets of heated metal into tools, weapons, and decorative vessels. Sparks scatter across wet stone floors, where apprentices constantly splash water to prevent fires. Molten metal glows orange in crucibles, and the smell of hot copper burns your nostril. Glassmakers nearby produce beads of such vivid blue and green, traders mistake them for gems. These craftsmen hold secrets of temperature and timing passed down through family lines for centuries. Losing a master glassmaker is considered a civic catastrophe because his knowledge dies with him. Walk past the workshops and down toward the river, where the real pulse of Babylon beats. Flat-bottomed boats crowd the Euphrates, loaded with grain, livestock, and bundled reeds for building. Fishermen haul nets heavy with carp, their shouts mixing with the creak of wooden hulls. Dock workers carry loads on their backs up slippery clay ramps, muscles glistening with river water. Date palms line the riverbank, their fronds casting striped shadows across the muddy shore below. Dates are not just food here, they are currency, medicine, and the base for fermented beer. Babylonian beer is thick, cloudy, and slightly sour, drunk through long reed straws from clay jars. Taverns along the waterfront serve this brew alongside roasted barley cakes and pickled river fish. Women operate many of these taverns, holding legal rights that would vanish for millennia. Hammurabi's code, carved into black diorite, guarantees protections that most ancient civilizations never imagined. But not everyone in the city enjoys the protection of law or the comfort of routine. Thousands of enslaved workers maintain the infrastructure that makes Babylon's grandeur possible at all. They dig canals under the crushing sun, haul bricks to construction sites, and clear irrigation ditches. Their backs carry visible welts from overseers who answer to no tribunal and face no consequences. Some are prisoners of war captured in campaigns against Assyria, Egypt, and the kingdoms beyond. Others were born into servitude, inheriting chains their grandparents wore before they existed. Their labor built every wall you admire and paved every road you walk upon today. Yet some enslaved individuals rise to positions of remarkable trust within wealthy households. Literaids manage estates, tutor children, and conduct business negotiations on their owner's behalf. Freedom can be purchased, and manumission documents found in archives prove that some actually succeeded. Night falls on Babylon, and the city transforms into something completely alien and extraordinary. Temperature drops sharply once the sun vanishes, and rooftops become sleeping platforms for entire families. Stars blaze overhead with a clarity that modern city dwellers have never experienced in their lives. Oil lamps flicker behind latticed windows, casting geometric patterns across narrow alley walls. Priests climb Etemenanki in torchlit procession, their chanting carrying across the silent rooftops below. Astronomers on the tower's summit track star movements with a precision that still astounds scientists. They predict eclipses, chart planetary orbits, and record observations spanning unbroken centuries of data. Babylonian mathematics gives us the 60-minute hour and the 360-degree circle we use today. Every time you check your watch, you are using a system invented on this exact tower. Temple prostitution operates openly near the sacred precincts, sanctioned by religious tradition and law. Incense burns continuously inside temple walls, masking the smell of animal sacrifice and old blood. Goat and sheep offerings leave the temple floors permanently stained despite constant scrubbing with sand. Sound carries strangely in the cool night air, amplified by the high mud brick walls. The lyre player practices scales that will echo forward into Greek and Roman music. Dogs howl in packs through the emptied market streets, fighting over scraps of discarded food. Watchmen patrol with bronze-tipped staffs, calling hours that divide the night into 3 watches. Now, consider the man who built much of what you see around you in every direction. Nebuchadnezzar II rules Babylon at the peak of its power and architectural ambition right now. He commissioned the Ishtar Gate, expanded the city walls, and rebuilt Etemenanki from near ruin. His palace complex covers an area so vast that servants need an hour to cross it. Throne room walls display hunting scenes in glazed brick that took artisans years to complete. Legend says he built the hanging gardens to comfort a homesick wife from green Median mountains. Whether those gardens existed or not, their legend reveals how Babylon dominated the ancient imagination. No other city inspired so many stories, so many fears, and so much envious admiration. Armies feared Babylon's double walls, which were thick enough for chariots to race along the top. Mods, fed by the Euphrates, surrounded the outer wall, making direct assault essentially suicidal. Inside those walls, a population approaching 200,000 lived in remarkable density for this era. Temples to Marduk, Ishtar, Nabu, and Shamash competed for skyline dominance and worshipper devotion. Religious festivals consumed 60 days of every year, filling the streets with procession and pageantry. Actors wearing divine masks performed ritual dramas, retelling the creation of the world each spring. Babylon will not last forever, though no one standing here tonight could imagine its fall. Persian armies under Cyrus will breach these walls within decades by diverting the Euphrates itself. Water that gave this city life will become the weapon that delivers its final defeat. Conquest comes not through battle, but through engineering, the same discipline that built Babylon's greatness. Slowly, over centuries, sand will swallow the Processional Way and bury the Ishtar Gate whole. Etemenanki will crumble till only its foundation platform remains, baking silently beneath the Iraqi sun. But something extraordinary survives the sand, the conquest, and the passage of 3,000 years. You'll land in any modern city and count the minutes on your clock in groups of 60. Divide your circle into 360 degrees and draw your angles with Babylonian precision. Read your legal contracts and know that the concept of written law began on these streets. Look up at the night sky and trace constellations that Babylonian astronomers named and cataloged first. Their fingerprints are everywhere, invisible but permanent, woven into the fabric of daily modern life. Ordinary scribes pressing reeds into wet clay created a record-keeping revolution that never ended. Enslaved hands that dug canals under the desert sun built the irrigation science that feeds billions. Brewers, astronomers, glassmakers, and tavern owners left legacies larger than any king's golden statue. Close your eyes one final time and listen for what remains beneath the desert's silence. Somewhere under the sand,